we'll talk about the Dragons because a lot of hype around a lot of talk around the Dragons in the pre-season.
It was the opposite of hype in the pre-season.
Yeah. But obviously Shane Flanagan coming in.
Yeah.
And I think there was amongst Dragons fans who were, I wouldn't say they were overly hopeful. I think they
apprehensive.
were optimistic.
Oh, were they?
Guardedly optimistic.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it went better than I think anyone could have hoped. I mean, the Titans were abysmal.
Yeah, they
absolutely abysmal. But the Dragons were outstanding.
I've been saying all along that, yes, people were tearing apart their roster. The fact that Shane Flanagan hadn't been able to land any sort of big signings. Yes, he made a couple of signings, but not sort of the marquee that he wanted, that he said he wanted, right? He said he's going to rebuild that roster. But I've always felt that the biggest ace they've had up in their sleeve was Shane Flanagan. And you can tell in their performances in the trials and then again in round one that, this is a team coached by a guy who likes to play gritty football, who it's all about attitude, it's all about effort, and the way he's just managed to get the best out of guys like Sully, Jaden Sewer, just all of a sudden he's getting the most out of his players. I mean, credit to Zach Lomax. There was talk going into that game that he's not happy there, that he wants out, but he put his hand up and he played a pretty good game out at wing. I don't know how the rest of that plays out, Reedy, whether he is there by the end of the year, but whatever he's doing in terms of coaching and getting the best out of his players, it's working, and that's going to be their best asset this year, I think.
It's funny because obviously last year was a lot of talk about Benny Hunt going to the Titans.
Yeah.
Ben Hunt's probably doing cartwheels now that he stayed, but Zach Lomax, you raised Zach Lomax. All the talk last week, he's unhappy playing on the wing. He was outstanding, and Zach's been a guy who I reckon over time. One of the criticisms of him is that occasionally he can drop his head and get the pips about when things aren't going his way. Well, things weren't going his way last week, and there's a lot of, as I said, he's not happy playing on the wing, but he was outstanding for them.
But see, the thing is, when you're winning, you're happy, right? So do you want to be a centre in a losing team, or do you want to be a winger making 200 plus metres a week?
And they're a winning team, though.
Are they? Well, we were last year.
Yeah.
Well, they might be, but do you know what I mean? Like, do you want to be a winger making 200 metres a week in a winning team, or a centre in a team that's struggling? Yeah. So I think for someone like Zach Lomax, if they're winning, he's not going to kick too many stones about him being out on the wing, especially when people are talking about him being an Origin winger potentially and the rest of it. And the other one was Sloan. How good was it to see him, score a hat-trick?
Well, he's been Flano's pet project in the pre-season, Terrell Sloan. So, what were your impressions?
I think in the pre-season, a lot of people were still, even after the 2 pre-season games, is Sloan our fullback? We should put Lomax there, things like that. I'm actually eating my words currently. I tipped the Dragons to get the wooden spoon, but I made those tips prior to the preseason, and as watching them do the preseason,
it's in the paper, man.
Yeah, it is in the paper. Yes,
it's in black and white. It's on the record.
I've had a lot of friends. Message me and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Who gave you the expert title? But I think the Dragons are a team, and I saw this in the preseason. They're gonna try bully teams. They're gonna try get it over teams, and that's Shane Flanagan to a T. That's what he does, and that's what made the Sharks so successful when he was there. I think if the Dragons can shut out teams early, like they did to the Tigers in the last preseason game, and like they did to the Titans on the weekend, man, you don't want to face that side.
Well, they've got a great draw. They've got the Dolphins this week, and the Dolphins were abysmal.
What's doing there?
Absolutely abysmal.
What's
on Sunday.
going on?
They were terrible against the Cowboys. Cowboys were really good, the Cowboys. And I think that's the Cowboys we saw 2 years ago. Yeah. They were disappointing last year. They got so much attacking the Cowboys. A great edge back rowers with Lukey and Nanai. Tommy Dearden, I think, is a fantastic player. Yeah. Scotty Drinkwater. They got a bit of luck. Penalty try went their way. Wouldn't have mattered in the end.
Wouldn't have mattered.
It was a dodgy, terrible call.
Yeah, it won't matter for Casey Badger.
They look really good, the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I jumped on the Cowboys bandwagon a couple of years ago when they were doing well. I'm a massive Todd Payton fan, so I think their team has a great balance. There's not too much of one thing and not the rest. I like the halves pairing. Chad Townsend, I think he still has a bit of footy left to play, partnering with Dearden, and then like you said, that their strike on their edges is ridiculous from their second row all the way to their wings.
What did you make of the penalty try? Thoughts?
Clanger? Yeah, a bit of a clanger. Yeah. Penalty try. It's, there was, I don't know, I know people sort of slow these things down to frame by frame and the rest of it, but there's definitely a point there where the ball kind of jinks a little bit and it looks like it's gone past the players and I don't know, social media was blowing up. They love a referee clanger, but what do you guys reckon in the...
Oh, I thought it was a shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker. And obviously I think Casey Badger made the call right, so the question then becomes, does Casey spend a week in Reggie's? I don't know, I wouldn't go that far. I think she's probably got some credit in the bank, but it was a bad decision.
So it's a hard job being a referee, so I tend to just like to not say too much on that, but you guys covered it pretty much. It's it's pretty nail on the head. It was a big error. So.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, like you said, it didn't affect the results. So we weren't kind of, other than that initial outrage, it's not going to be something that we're going to be talking about all week. But still, it's sort of hard to see how Badger came to that to that decision.